Boy, oh boy. I don't know. After that closing segment, the Undertaker farewell Taker, that whole segment they did. I don't know after that how I can feasibly just do like a full Survivor Series review, giving my in-depth rant and analysis on stuff like Lana being the sole survivor in the women's elimination match, or I don't know the opening match where Team Raw swept Team SmackDown. I don't know how I can like feasibly do that, and I'm not going to because this review and this video as a whole is going to be basically predicated around what we saw to close the show. The Undertaker's final farewell. This segment, it was basically on that same par with like the Ric Flair farewell, just this like iconic segment that you're going to remember for just years and decades to come. It was on these segments which, the way they executed it, the way WWE just masterfully pulled off this just eloquent farewell for Undertaker, it was just so well done. Like, Undertaker, I think it goes without saying that all time in WWE, he's top couple, and many people have him as the greatest of all time. Personally, I do. I think Undertaker, for what he did and how much he was respected in his 30-year career, he had such a level of greatness and such a level of respect for such a long time. And I think that goes, well, not unnoticed, obviously, because especially on a night like tonight, everyone shows appreciation to Undertaker. But I think in the grand scheme of the wrestling industry and the wrestling business, to think that Undertaker has been at such a high level of just greatness for 30 years, from 1990 through 2020, this guy, Undertaker, was basically at the top of the business. He was the locker room leader backstage. Everyone respected him. You wanted to get in the good graces of Undertaker because you knew that if he respected you, you were going to make it in the business. And I think Undertaker, just as a performer, as a character, he was just special. He stood out. Ever since he made his debut, Survivor Series 1990, he was different. He was special. There weren't people like him. And that's what made him so great. Because he wasn't just the run-of-the-mill, happy to be there guy. He wasn't just, I'm a great athlete. You know, he had something just different to him. That character, the way he stuck to it for so many years, from 1990 through basically 2020, he didn't break off character once. He always stuck to what he was supposed to be and the character he was trying to play. And for that, he achieved such immense greatness and respect in the pro wrestling business. And this farewell Taker segment tonight, it did a perfect job of encapsulating it because, okay, so what they did, if you didn't say it, basically, like the start of the segment, we had a heap of legends coming out. This was everyone. So Kane, Triple H. I'm not going to name them all. I'm going to name as many as I can. You had JBL out there, Booker T. You had the Godwins out there, Shane McMahon. I think I mentioned JBL. You had so many legends. Shawn Michaels, just tons of legends. People who have interacted with Undertaker over the years. We got about 10 minutes worth of just watching just pure legends of the wrestling business come out, make their presence known at Survivor Series, show respect for Undertaker by coming out for his farewell ceremony. So I thought that was really good. Then, after we saw these legends, like who I just mentioned, then we got a great video package for Undertaker, where you had guys like Cena, Edge, Triple H, Michaels, all these types, talking about how Undertaker was so successful, how he reinvented himself, he stayed relevant, he was always, great amidst any era. Undertaker, he was great in every era, and that's what really made him so special. So we had a video package for that, really well done there. WWE and their production team, no one doesn't like them. Seriously, no one does. So that was excellent. Then we had the stuff with Vince. So we had Vince McMahon standing in the ring. You could tell Vince was like really emotional, and Vince was trying to not cry, because then if Vince cries, all of a sudden that becomes a meme for the next 15 years. So Vince had to keep it together, but you can tell it was tough for him, obviously, because Undertaker was his brainchild. He was the one who called Mark Calloway back in, when was it, August 1990? In 1990 sometime, saying, "Oh, is this the Undertaker?" And that was Vince. Vince came up with this just iconic character. So for Vince, it's such an emotional moment. Vince brings out and introduces the Undertaker. Then we got a full-blown, just full Undertaker entrance. You really just took it in. I just put the phone aside, just ignored that, didn't focus on anything except this Undertaker entrance. I just took it in. For the 10 to 15 minutes which we saw this, you just embrace this, because the whole point of this farewell ceremony was really just to, show appreciation to Taker and have one more like entrance, one more time seeing him. Because as much as I made the video with my WrestleMania 37 like fantasy booking video, and I had Undertaker versus Sting and Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt in cinematic matches, even though I did that, realistically, that's not really the best decision. The best thing was just doing this fitting farewell ceremony, 30 years to the day after he debuted. That's fairy tale stuff. That's just scripted perfectly. So yeah, Undertaker made his just entrance. That was brilliant. They had his entrance music playing on, what was it? Not a harmonica, but it was like it had like a high pitched version of his entrance music. You had the smoke, the fireworks, all that kind of stuff, all the big do for Undertaker's entrance. It was brilliant. Undertaker walked up to the steps. He was on a platform. He got raised up, got into the ring, just embraced the crowd. The thank you Taker chants piped in. Undertaker chants piped in. He has a microphone. Says that for 30 years he walked this aisle and he beat everyone. But he did like one of the Undertaker type promos. It was emotional stuff. You could tell he was trying not to like cry. Then they did this, which, as you can see, you've seen on screen all video. This was just, I couldn't keep it together for this part. Undertaker, when he took his knee and did the his pose as Paul Bearer's like hologram was there, that was just, yeah, I mean, that was beautifully done. WWE and their production, no one does it like them. Absolutely no one does production like WWE. This was phenomenal. Then, I mean, after this, Undertaker slowly exuted the ring, walked up the aisleway, put his fist up, and then walked to the back, and that was the show. So, yeah, Survivor Series 2020, that's basically all you need to know. I'll talk about the other stuff really briefly, because really this night and everything about it was about The Undertaker. The pay-per-view itself, like the 3 hours of showtime we got before this closing segment, they were fine. It was serviceable. I think the Drew McIntyre-Roman Reigns match was by far the best thing we got on the show. That was phenomenal. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, they showed what pro wrestling should be. It wasn't just two 5'8" guys doing gymnastics and acrobatics for 26 minutes and then it being called a 5-star match by Dave Meltzer. That's not what this was. This was a pro wrestling clinic. It was what pro wrestling should be. It was two guys who are superheroes in a day and age where pro wrestling lacks that. Pro wrestling lacks larger-than-life, believable guys who can cut promos, have compelling characters. These two guys just are the opposite of that. These two guys are what pro wrestling should be, and their match was just phenomenal. Reigns spearing McIntyre through the barricade, the use of submission, the use of the referee bump was brilliantly done. McIntyre looked like a great fighting champion, kicked out of 2 spears. Eventually, Jey Uso gets involved. They do the guillotine stuff. That was all really good. In the end, Roman Reigns gets the win, thanks to Jey Uso. Drew McIntyre was laid out. I was thinking he was going to cash in. Miz was going to cash in, but Miz did not cash in. So, yeah, Drew McIntyre, he's still the WWE champion. Roman Reigns picks up another W. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, just phenomenal. So, that was excellent. I'll probably, if this wasn't on the night that The Undertaker farewell, I would have reviewed this match for like 10 minutes. But, yeah, it's about Taker tonight. So, yeah, that was that. And the rest of the show, Lana was Sole Survivor. That match was it was... I've seen people say that was a great Survivor Series match up until the ending. I mean, was it? Bayley got eliminated first, which didn't make any sense. We had Shayna Baszler literally pass out Bianca Belair, and then instead of Nia Jax walking in the ring, pinning Bianca Belair and winning the match for Team Raw, Nia Jax instead tried to put Bianca Belair through a table. That failed miserably, and then Lana was the sole survivor. So it is what it is. I'm sure people are going to fake outrage and act as if this is a legitimate hate crime. It's like, who cares, dude? It doesn't. It's WWE. It just doesn't matter. So yeah, Lana's the sole survivor. Whatever. In the men's match, Team Raw clean swept Team SmackDown. Don't really care. The New Day versus Street Profits was a really good match. Those two teams put on a classic tag team match in WWE. That was really good. Asuka and Sasha Banks, good match. Sasha Banks pinned Asuka for the first time, so that was good. And then Bobby Lashley beat Sami Zayn. So that was Survivor Series 2020. Overall, a pretty good show. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out the main event match, Reigns and Drew McIntyre, and then The Undertaker farewell. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, sub, use no drill. See ya.